All right, before installing your pistons, you want to check your ring pack here. It's a fairly simple process. You know you're going to check the ring end gap before you put anything in there, but you also need to check your ring grooves. So what you're looking at, and you need to do this on used pistons or new pistons. If you put your ring in there, it should move freely around here. Now, the way you're going to check this, and it depends on the piston manufacturer, because all of them are going to be slightly different or have different specs that they want you to do. You need to check the side clearance of the ring down in the groove. We're at about a 2/1000 right here, which is good. You wouldn't want it too much. Sometimes if you have a used pit, like if you're trying to use a used piston, sometimes what will happen is you'll get wear down in the grooves there. And if you shine a light down in there, you can't see it on this one because it doesn't have any wear to it. But so, you'll get wear on some pistons down in the groove there. So what will happen is the ring just moves too much in the groove there, which you can get a ring flutter, so it'll actually leak past the rings. It'll cause it to leak at a higher RPM. And you're going to check all the grooves here, first, second, and oil ring. You also need to check the depth of the ring, which is going to be basically just what it says. You should have about, depending on the piston manufacturer, always got to buy about 0.005 clearance between basically the ring below the surface, below the surface of the lands here. And like I said, different manufacturers are going to tell you different things, but as a general rule of thumb, about 5 is good. And check your oil ring too. Side clearance on the oil ring and the depth. What will happen on a used pistons, you'll get carbon buildup down inside the grooves here, which actually pushes the rings out. It'll wear them out quicker. See, I can't really see it because my eyes suck, but I can feel it with this pick right here where this oil ring was in this stock cast piston. It is a little wavy in there, like it's got some wear down in the groove. To be expected if it's filled up with carbon. So things to check. Now on a used piston, it's more prevalent to have rings that are going to stick. So if you're putting a new ring package in there and you just stick your ring in there, kind of roll it around all the way around the piston, then it should move fairly decent. What you can get from detonation or whatever, you can get distortion in the ring lands to where it's actually pinching one of the rings there. So, for instance, this was a used piston, if it was, and you put your ring in there and you check your side clearance a couple of places, but then you start rolling the ring around and you find that it's got a tight spot, say right here, or it could be anywhere. It could be over on the other side here. So you got a tight spot in there, meaning that land is moved at some point. So it's like pinched together, kind of. But you'll stick the ring, and when it sticks the ring there, what will happen is that ring will wear in that one spot where it's stuck. So hardly ever happens on four. I've seen it happen on 4 strokes, but usually on 2 strokes, I pull them apart where you go and measure the ring, and you don't even have to measure it. Sometimes you can look at it and you'll see that half the ring's going on one side of the piston. One side of the ring is like half the size of the other side. That's because that ring was stuck in there at some point in time, stuck in the groove, and it stuck and stayed out like that, and that's the side that's going to wear. So fairly simple process. Now ring gap on this thing. Let me grab the cylinder. All right, I go by about, and have for many years, going by about 3,000ths per inch of bore, or whatever that is in metric. I guess I'll put in the video, but I'm an imperial guy, so, or standard English measurement. So 3,000ths per inch of bore, which meaning for this cylinder, we should be a little over 10,000ths for this bore size, 10 to 10, 11 thousandths, I think, for the top ring. And we'll do that for the second ring too. So then oil ring can be slightly more. So let's check these here. Top ring on this is the thin one. And there again too, when you go to install the rings, consult the ring manufacturer. You're going to have a marking on the ring there on one side of it, meaning that's the direction it needs to go. But we're just checking the gap right now. We're not actually installing the rings on the piston. So, and it's going to set the ring in there. We'll square it up with the piston. And then we're going to feel our gap here. And that is 12 thousandths on that, so that's actually pretty good. We're within range there, so we don't actually have to file these rings. Let's check the second ring here. That one feels like it's slightly more than 12. Try that 13 there. And, you know, it's called a feeler gauge because you kind of feel it. There's a feel for it. So you should have a slight drag on there. Probably from dew. So that one, we're about 14 on that one. Still good. Good enough anyway. Let's check this oil ring here. An oil ring isn't quite as important on them thin rails. You still want to check it though. You don't want any tight ones. So for instance, say that this top ring here was actually like 8 thousandths. You know that's too small. Then we're going to have to file that down a little bit at a time with like a diamond file. And after you file it, once you get it to size, you're going to need to dress all the edges of the ring there with stone. Just your little stone. You don't want any burrs on the ring there. You're going to do all 4 surfaces. Top side, bottom side, outer side, inner side, just a little bit of bevel on them, just to make sure there's no burrs. So the fairly simple, side clearance and depth. Now if the depth isn't deep enough, there's either something wrong with the piston or something wrong with the ring package you got. Because there's no way that ring needs to stick out past the piston, because what will happen if it does, you put the piston in there, if you can get it in the cylinder with the ring sticking out. Usually you can't. But then you actually can't move the piston up and down the bore because you don't lock the rings when you put it in there, because there's nowhere for them to go. So to reiterate, you want to check your new stuff just to make sure that it is actually cool. what it's supposed to be as far as what they sent you. Because they do make mistakes, or you'll get them sometimes where they mispackaged the wrong ring pack for that cylinder. And it's an inconvenience, but it does happen. Not very often, but it can happen. You'll have you buy the pistons and you're getting a different ring set. Instead of Hastings, you're using like a Speed Pro ring or something like that, or maybe a Total Seal. And for whatever reason, you got the wrong ring pack. And you don't check it, and you go to put it on there, and the cylinder won't actually fit in the piston won't actually fit in the cylinder. And let's say you've checked the piston, and you know the piston actually fits. But you get down to put the rings in there, and you can't get the rings compressed enough to get in the cylinder. It's pretty much that simple. It's the wrong ring pack. So I'll add this in there before I forget about it. For instance, let's say you didn't have enough ring end gap. Let's say this was 12, and this thing you didn't measure it, and it only had like 6 or 7 end gap. So what happens there? Let me grab one of these other rings. What happens there is this ring actually compresses up against the other side, so it's compressed like that, so it actually locks in the cylinder. And it can make it seize. It can break a ring land. Usually it'll seize up in there. And what you're going to look for on those, if you take a ring out and you look at the old ring and you look at this area right in here, and if it's shiny at all, even a little bit, usually up here at the top portion of it, then the rings have actually been touching each other like that with it running, meaning they've been partially locking up. And bad stuff happens when that happens. Really bad stuff. That's the kind of thing where it can lock up while you're cranked over in the corner, lock the rear tire up, and throw you in a piece of Armco or in a ditch somewhere. It happens. Now these ring end gaps are going to vary depending on what your usage is. So typically the manufacturer will have normally aspirated, which no turbo, no nitrous, no blower is what that means. And we'll say this one's 3,000 clearance. But then at the same time, they'll say, well, if you're running nitrous or a turbo or a blower, then you need to use 4 or 4,500 clearance per inch of bore. Meaning instead of 11 thousandths or 12 thousandths on this top ring, you might need to run 18, 19, 20 thousandths clearance. Because more pressure or more heat wants to expand the ring out more. And then you're more likely to have ring butting, where the rings are touching each other on the ends there, causing bad things to happen. So we know, at least for this piston, we're decent. The ring gaps are okay. Ring lane clearance is okay. Ring groove side clearance is okay. We're good there. We just need to check the other one, then we'll start putting this thing back together after I paint the cylinders. Starting to get into wintertime mode now, and I typically get slow. I'm already slow, but I get slower in the wintertime. Blood's too thin or something, I don't know. But that's about it. Hope everybody has a damn fine weekend. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for liking all that. And I guess I'm going to go back to trying to finish these rocker boxes now. And maybe get some stuff taped up and painted, started, at least. And you guys take care. Have a fine weekend. Appreciate you.